All right, breaking news coming in. Centre cancels the security clearance of Turkish firm Celebi Aviation, responsible for critical operations at several Indian airports, is what we're learning. Ajay Jandyal, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to give us the latest details about this. Ajay, this is of course a step that we all saw coming, considering the fact that Turkey has been so sympathetic to Pakistan.
Yes, we have seen that how Turkey, who got support from India and when they were facing the tough time, but even after that, when they did not realize that how important India is for Turkey, then this decision has been taken after they have supported Pakistan in a situation when they were supporting terrorism and terror infrastructures in Pakistan. The government of India has taken this decision that they have revoked the security clearance of Celebi Airport Services Private Limited, which is providing services on a number of airports of our country, and the security clearance in Celebi Airport Services India Private Limited under the category of ground handling agency was approved by DG BCAS, wide letter number 1599/2020 in Delhi. It was started in 2020, and in exercise to power conferred upon DG BCSA, the security clearance in Celebi Airport Services Private Limited is hereby revoked. So this is a big decision to at least give a message to Turkey that what the government of India can also do, because it is something like you were supporting and you were favoring a country, you were helping them in a tough time, and when it comes to giving it, retreat it, they started doing it. So they were supporting Pakistan, and a country who basically was running terror network from Pakistan and spreading bloodshed in India.
Ajay, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. Moving on, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today visited Jammu after Operation Sindhu to review overall security and boost the morale of our troops. The minister made a very critical case against Pakistan's control of nukes after threats made from the country's biggest ministers. Rajnath called upon the IAEA to seize Pakistani nuclear arms, questioning if a country this rogue should have nuclear control. The United States, which has a crucial say in this body, has been very vocal about Iran's control of nuclear arms. But do they know who sold Iran this nuclear technology? Abdul Qadir Khan, or AQ Khan, who was Pakistan's father of the nuclear mission, was the one who smuggled nuclear technology to Iran, North Korea and Libya. Does Trump need a reminder on this? And if he already knows, why is the US allowing Pakistan to hold on to their nuclear missiles, is the big question that we will be addressing.
ऐसे गैर जिम्मेदार और रोग नेशन के हाथों में परमाणु हथियार सुरक्षित हैं? मैं दुनिया के सामने ये सवाल खड़ा करना चाहता हूं। मैं मानता हूं कि पाकिस्तान के एटमी हथियारों को IAEA, इंटरनेशनल एटॉमिक एनर्जी एजेंसी की निगरानी में लिया जाना चाहिए। मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा और साफ तौर पर कहना।
All right, joining us on the program to talk more about this is Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator. Major General Sudhakar Ji, geopolitical and strategic and defense expert, with us on the program as well. Ambassador S.D. Muni, former diplomat, with us on the broadcast as well. Sumit, I'll begin with you. Well, the Raksha Mantri is absolutely right. You cannot have a monkey controlling nuclear weapons. You cannot have him control a remote control that can kill people, that can destroy lands, that can cause problems for the entire world. Let's remember, folks, that if a nuclear war does happen, it's just not the nation that it's targeted with. Eventually, it's going to be the entire world that is going to face a blackout for a few years. There will be problems for 90% of humanity if a nuclear weapon goes off. Sumit, but let's also talk about the hypocrisy, right, on behalf of the Americans. On one hand, they're very keen on not letting Iran have a nuclear policy also. Forget about a nuclear bomb. And on the other, they continue to help Pakistan. They got IMF just bailed out Pakistan with a couple of $2 billion. Pakistan is being hyphenated with India, which is a big problem to me. How do you think this looks for the Americans?
Vinit, that talks about utter American hypocrisy, and what I've been always saying that, only your Shakti can ensure peace and power. It is your army, your own things which can make you safe. No alliances, nothing works at the time of dire need. Look, it's a very simple thing. Yesterday, Trump was in Saudi. He was embarrassing this Julani, the ISIS terrorist, who has killed people with his own hands, right? And then he said Marco Rubio will be meeting the foreign minister of Syria, who is again an ISIS terrorist, Dadiwala terrorist. And I remember what Dr. Jaishankar once said, that there are people who are donning now suits and ties. They cannot wash out their old karmas and old history. I mean, if this can be done, and he says, your Crown Prince wanted me to do that, and Tayyip Erdogan called me to do that, and it is believed that Qataris showed them some carrots that they will invest these many $1 billion in US, and yesterday he signed a $600 billion deal with Saudi. So basically it means if you have money on the table, everything and anything can be brainwashed. You can shake hands with the ISIS terrorist. A legitimate ISIS terrorist will become a legitimate partner of United States of America. That's the American hypocrisy, because their foreign policy is based on every quarter. Now, if you look at Pakistan, Pakistan is a strategic leverage with India, China, Afghanistan and Iran. So they want to keep this rogue nation alive. Now, if you look at all the rumors which have been going, Vinith, about the radiation leaks, the International Atomic Energy Agency says there is no leak today, but was there a leak? They have not clarified that. Was there ever a leak in the last 10 days? They have not cleared it. Why things are moved out of Kahuta? Why there was Baron being spread yesterday? What were the American Gamma, aircraft, Gamma sensor aircraft doing there? What was Turkish C-130 doing there? Why are these earthquakes coming in Pakistan? There were a lot of things which are being speculative. And why are they moving the whatever they have in Kahuta? Why are they moving out of that? So that means fundamentally you are talking of a country which is unstable. You are talking of a country which has tactical nuclear warheads. You are talking of a country which has dirty bombs which are difficult to transport, use, and even to safekeep. In such a situation, if something untoward happens there, of course they will blame India for it, but you see the radiation can spread to the whole world. Now, how can world afford a rogue Islamist nation with a Wahhabi mullah controlling it and letting, and your and my life is at his liberty, and it's not going to stop in Delhi. It will go far aage. Now it's for the world and it's for the people to get together and disband Pakistan's nuclear weapons. And unless and until you get rid of the Pakistan's nuclear weapons, wherein after this Operation Sindoor, there are serious doubts. Are they intact? Is there a radiation leak? Is it contained? Will it happen again? How safe are the weapons? Will a jihadi group reach to them? How many tactical warheads there? There are a lot of such things which are out there, and that also talks and fundamentally explains one premise, that their safety is highly questionable, doubtful, and is very fragile. So when Rajnath Singh says from Kashmir they should be taken by IAEA, and he's completely right, and that is what the world should see. Because if you want these radicalized jihadis to have it tomorrow, don't be surprised if the Mullah Munir, out of frustration or dimag ke saath jayega, he might give access to one of these groups, and they will say no, they stormed into the facility, they ran away with one weapon. And for these jihadis, even if they have to, if a few men will die in the process of stealing those weapons, they don't mind. You are talking of radicalized people who are terrorists in uniform. That is what the reality is. And from a perspective, Indian perspective, Pakistan's nukes are a perpetual threat to India's safety and your and my life security. As long as we are able to handle them, dismantle them, or whatever way they get out of vicinity, your and my life is more safer that day. That is how I look at it. By the time we don't settle their nuclear doctrine completely, when we can tell to the world, look, Pakistan is not a nuclear power, that day you and me can sleep maybe half an hour more in the night and breathe better. That is what the reality is, we need. The world has to see it that way.
All right, General Sudhakarji, how do you see this? Obviously, and what will it take, for the world to rid Pakistan of this nuclear weapons? India has already shown that there is an intent and capability when it comes to taking down these facilities. We've all heard the rumors, but in fact, how can the Americans, if they have to, or if they want to, help themselves as well as help the world in getting Pakistan rid of these nuclear weapons, because they'll be doing the entire humankind a big favor.
Absolutely, Vinit. Thank you. Good morning. You are aware where I'm speaking from, and let me take my mind back to a couple of years. I was reading a Rand Commission report, and in that report, what came out was that there are 21 steps to activate any nuclear weapon system. And as things stand today, way back in 2007, there was a huge morsel of activities when Musharraf was in power, and the nuclear network of the arsenal was under threat, and perhaps there was some drama going on. Israel wanted to target them, etc., etc. But the long and short is that the Americans they came in, and I'm given to understand they have some kind of a control. So as per my latest study and a bit of track to here and there, I have come to a conclusion that out of 21 steps, the final 3 steps are with the American hands. But I can't say, I don't have any evidence. This is my open source study. This is one part I want to share. Second thought which is coming to my mind is, are these nuclear weapons in Pakistan, who do they belong to? Do they belong to Pakistan or they belong to Americans? Because the way the ceasefire has been imposed upon India, I'm very sure the leadership in India, being around 18,000 kilometers away from the shores of India today, looking at it from a global perspective, has been imposed on India much against the wishes and the desires of the country. I don't think any military leader or any political leadership would have agreed to hold a ceasefire within 48 hours of having launched or going through a discussion. So therefore, if it has been imposed in that manner, what are the circumstances? What led to this particular thing is an issue which needs to be investigated. And my understanding, I have been studying since past 24 hours, to me, I feel perhaps there were American nuclear assets which were under danger. Perhaps the very precision targeting by Indian Air Force, who have done, I would say, proud to the nation, they should be given kudos. They have been able to hit the substantive points, pinpointed targets have been hit, wherein the threat was actually compounding by the time, which could have put the entire nuclear arsenal, which actually was with the responsibility of Americans, into danger, grave danger. Maybe because of that, the American leadership, which 48 hours prior, they were washing up the hand that they had nothing to do with this India and Pakistan conflict. Let them sort it out. All that they could do was to urge the people or the leadership hierarchy to come and talk it out and have diplomacy and dialogue. And how is it that within 48 hours, after 48 hours, same people were bouncing back, and the JD Vance was talking to Narendra Modi, and people were making all kinds of moves. The DG of Pakistan, he made 2 calls to ensure ceasefire at the earliest. So therefore, there is some smoke, some suspicious kind of activities which have taken place. My conviction is that it's a very dangerous thing. These kind of components, they are never kept in assembled form. They are in an unassembled form. They're kept in a hidden underground bunkers with long tunnels, with segregation, as also separation ensured. Security in Pakistan today of such sensitive installations is a doubtful, it's a big question mark. So with the legitimization of non-state actors, whether in Afghanistan or in Syria, now in Bangladesh, gradually taking the toll of rules-based international order, I fear that what our Honorable Defence Minister has actually made a statement has got a lot of relevance. The whole world, geopolitics has to make a response to this particular plea from India, that are the nuclear weapons safe in Pakistan? If not, some meaningful and substantive course of action must be taken so that the wind always blows from west to east. If there is a radiation, the first impact is going to be on our people who are illiterate about the nuclear radiation, who are not prepared, who are not sensitized. The first impact are going to be the border states. The states are going to be starting from Srinagar or the Jammu area to Punjab, then Rajasthan, then Gujarat. Are we prepared to face any kind of consequences of the radiation? No. As things stand today, like Sumit has very nicely brought out, Boron, the Egyptian aircraft which was moving, floating around, so is the Turkish aircraft. What are they doing there for? Aren't they actually, there is a surveillance aircraft of USA which is also making rounds and rounds for past couple of days. What is it doing? What are the findings? Has the International Atomic Energy Agency sprung into action so as to validate at least confirm, is there a radiation? Why aren't the people coming into the public? These are very dangerous signs. The worst affected people are going to be the border states of India if we do not make noise. I think our Honorable Defence Minister has made the right kind of move by flagging the issue and calling it out loudly. Back to you, Vinit.
Very well said, sir. Very well articulated. Ambassador S.D. Muni also with us on the program. Ambassador Muni, it's not supposed to be India's problem alone that we have a belligerent nuclear armed neighbor. It is supposed to be everyone's problem. Do you think that the West is turning a blind eye towards this threat, which could affect everyone on earth if something goes south?
Well, I think Mr. Rajnath Singh has raised a valid point to begin with, because the question of the safety of nuclear weapons in Pakistan has a very long debate. For many, many years, there has always been suspicion of such weapons falling in the hands of the extremist or terrorist groups, and you never know even about the leadership looking at the political system within Pakistan. So I think he has flagged the issue very well. But look, frankly, I don't think IAEA is capable of controlling any country's nuclear weapons. If it was as an international agency, it would have controlled many nuclear weapons earlier. Pakistan is known to be playing with the nuclear factor for the last, I would say, at least 45 years. Since the 80s, it has been known to us. And Bhutto was trying soon after 71. And later on, Dr. Khan installed technology, backed technology, and one of the countries which has played a major role in Pakistan's nuclear weapons is China. US has been looking towards the other side. They knew what kind of developments are taking place, but they had no guts or probably no mechanism to control Pakistan. Look, the US did not even have the mechanism to control Pakistan so far as Al-Qaeda was concerned. It was very late that they could take Osama bin Laden out of Pakistan with great efforts and I would say great cooperation of Pakistan. Chinese have been supporting the nuclear weapon status of Pakistan for a long time. And whenever this question goes to any international agency, I'm sure the Chinese will stand up. Look, I mean, even the nuclear suppliers group, even there we are facing problems because of China. And everywhere, whether it is SCO or nuclear supplier group, anywhere they get a chance where India has its legitimate rights to come and sit on the high decision-making table, the Chinese bring up the Pakistan issue. And they want to balance it, and I think it suits their strategic interest to do that. Therefore, in practical terms, we can be very angry, agitated, whatever else it is. But there is no mechanism in the world to control nuclear weapons of any country, I would say. If they could control, they would have even controlled us. They tried for a long time. Therefore, to talk of controlling Pakistan's nuclear weapons is something more of a, it's a debating point rather than looking for any practical solutions. Now, we cannot take out the nuclear weapons of Pakistan militarily because it will have a radiation effect on us. And that's a great danger. Look, the Israelis have been trying to do something about Iran, something about some other countries. Earlier, Iraq and Libya unnecessarily were blamed for nuclear weapons. So it's not a done thing so far as control of the nuclear weapons is concerned. And I think we have to find out various means to deal with Pakistan's nuclear weapons. We have found out. I may submit it to you that we have a bilateral agreement with Pakistan on the nuclear issues. As to whatever the developments are, I think we are supposed to keep each other informed about the status of nuclear arsenal which we have. Now, Pakistanis are using nuclear weapons as a bluff. It is good that we have called it off. We called it off in 1999 also. I mean, even then they said we are a nuclear weapon power. Musharraf said and therefore India would not be able to do anything. But we pushed them back in 1999, and in US exercised pressure on Pakistan at that time to accept LOC as a sacrosanct. He called Musharraf and Nawaz Sharif to Washington.
You're absolutely right, sir. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we have a paucity of time as well. So I'm going to quickly rope in
All
Sumit
right.
Peer. Sumit, in fact, the Americans went to war against the Iraqis, right, for biological weapons, right, which are perhaps not as harmful as a nuclear weapon that Pakistan holds, even the tactical ones. Why this hypocrisy?
Hypocrisy is the amount of money you can put on the table, or you can make them earn on through deals. If you can put, if let's say Khomeini can put 10 trillion on the table, I think Trump will sing a different tone altogether. It's as simple as that. So these put 600 billion, that they're talking of altogether different tone. You're taking stands with Jolani, and look at Kurdistan. In Kurdistan, there are these ISIS terrorists who are in a jail which Kurds were holding. There were 2,000 US Marines. Trump came, reduced them to 800. Now we are hearing that they will be pulled out. What will happen to Kurds? The Turkish will come and they will settle all the Kurds. What will happen to those prisoners? Imagine, what is his name? Tayyip Erdogan's foreign minister, Fidan Hakan, said that Jolani ISIS terrorist will control these ISIS terrorists which Kurds were holding in the jails in Kurdistan. Because Kurdistan has oil. So at the end of the day, it's all about money. So Kurdistan and oil. Turkey is interested in that oil because it makes money for them, and Jolani is interested in oil because he wants to get money from somewhere, and because Qataris have put a lot of money in US, and MBS has agreed for a 600 billion, he signed a 600 billion deal. So Trump closes his eyes. He says, okay, I'm getting a trillion. Let me call it a day. I'll settle it later. At the end of the day, I'll find some Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'll find Pakistanis who will go and handle these, these jihadis at the right point of time. We'll declare them terrorists. We'll undeclare them terrorists. We'll call them good terrorists. We'll call them bad terrorists. That is how American foreign policy runs. The problem with American foreign policy is like a quarterly policy. What works for me this quarter, I'll kind of this permanent shift in the shifting sands of American foreign policy has caused a lot of disruptions in the world, and Pakistan, as long as it has a geographical relevance, they will keep on shielding it. But as far as I am concerned, whatever we have to do with Pakistan is our problem. We have to go and settle them. We have to go and do it with them. And I'm just hearing that even Trump is saying that I'm very close to a nuclear deal in Iran, which was unthinkable. You see the amount of trouble Benjamin Netanyahu has got in last 24 hours. You see how much of right-leaning political parties in Israel are really, gunning for his blood, if I may say that today. And with all, with all the arms and armaments ready, with those bunker busters ready, now you are telling I will have a deal with Iran. And do you think Iran will stop enriching uranium? No. Do you think Iran will not make a bomb? No. And let me tell you, sir, American Secretary of Energy went to Riyadh. He told Saudis, we are going to give you nuclear facilities. You can process, nuclear fuels for power generation. I don't know how much of an industry does Saudi where they need nuclear for power generation. It's a matter of time. Another 10, 15 years, I'm telling you today, Saudis will also have the capability to make a nuclear bomb. And that's how it is going to end. And it is Trump who will give it to them because he wants trillion, 5 trillion, I don't know how much from the crown prince, as long as he foots the bill. Oh, and then the strategy is, or the mentality is, let's get the money today. Well, let's make a problem later on. We'll say how to settle it. Now, if you give enrichment facilities to Saudis, do you think they will not think of making a bomb one day? They will. And you will give them all the guidance, you will give them all the fuel, you will give them every assistance, because MBS can put a trillion on the table. It's as simple as that. Kitna paisa aayega ya kitna paisa milega? Whichever is bigger, that shapes the narrative. And it's so unfortunate, so direct. That's what I'm saying, that when it comes to India, your own Sanibal and Shastrabal is the only one you can depend on, is the only one which can help and save you. And if you look at the history, whenever the boundaries of India have become porous, we Hindus have ended up paying jizya. So let's not get out of that state.
We've run out of time, Sumit, but appreciate everybody who joined us and filled in with their perspective. General Sudhakarji, appreciate you being here. It was a pleasure having you, like it always is. Ambassador Muni, thank you so much, sir. We take a short break now. We'll be right back.